Hey everybody, welcome back to the Hayden Alabama podcast. I'm Philip.
I'm Shane.
I'm Steven.
Steven was walking down 160 a little earlier and right by the recording studio, and it's warm in here, and we thought, a little cold tonight, why don't we bring him in?
Here I am.
So here he is. So the title of tonight's podcast is, y'all do what in a small town?
It's a good question.
But you're going to have to wait to the end to see what that's all about. We have a hobby that we feel like is definitely
Small-townish.
Small-town-ish. It's a hobby that we all enjoyed and have
Partook in.
We partook for many nights.
Yeah, quite a few nights. That's true.
So we're going to tell maybe a little bit about that, talk about the hobby, and give our favorite story.
And we're going to do its favorite stories tonight.
Yeah, favorite story tonight from that. The rest of it is going to be about Hayden. We have 7 other topics. The first several are all things that are upcoming very soon here in our wonderful small town of Hayden, including the Christmas parade.
Yeah.
And then we had some interesting comments on Facebook this week.
That's my favorite topics, really, just the Facebook world that you get into. That.
Yeah. Well, 2 of those we're going to have some fun with, not make fun of, but just have a little fun with, because we thought there's some credibility to what they're saying.
Good questions.
But I think it could also be fun to talk about as well.
Sure.
And one serious one, which we thought was really a great idea, which is really awesome. Well, let's take it from the top. Ho, ho, ho.
The Christmas parade.
The Christmas parade is headed this way. Do you want to tell a little bit about that? So that's what, December what?
I think it's December the 5th.
Yep.
Is correct. Is the correct day.
There's some notes there. Take those.
Notes that we've got. And I talked to JJ Ivy. He's the police chief, and the police chief. I'm sorry. He's the fire chief. So no offense, JJ.
Maybe that's he's aspiring to do that as well.
Could possibly be the police chief as well, but he's the police.
It's on your heart,
JJ. Don't tell
JJ,
Chapman.
Maybe you should be the police chief.
Don't tell Chapman that you're gunning for his job. Okay. I spoke to JJ, who's the fire chief.
Got him
correct that time. And he gave me some points. It's all on their Facebook page. It's the West Blunt Fire District, Hayden, Alabama. That's their Facebook page. December 5th, 7 p.m., rain or shine. So if it's raining.
What if it's snowing?
If it's snowing, Santa Claus.
Show goes on?
Show must go on. They're going to provide more lighting this year along the parade route. The parade lineup is at West Blunt Park at 5 p.m. So if you've got a float,
the old ballpark,
up at the OBP,
mm-hmm.
those were some fun memories there.
A field, B field, C field, D field.
I think I hit a ball out on every one of them.
My man. So 5 o'clock if you're in the parade.
If you want to be in the parade, and the way that JJ explained it to me is there's no roll. Like you don't sign up for it. The way to sign up,
you don't have to call them.
Up.
You get up there at 5 o'clock. They let you in the parade.
Show up. No,
Steve, you may need to be in the parade.
He's going to be in the parade, just like he showed up.
Gator.
Just like he showed up for the podcast, he's going to show up.
Yeah,
you never know where you're going to find me.
You may be walking past that way, and you just get right in.
Just pile in the parade. So that's at 5 p.m. So you show up. Any parade float qualifies. I don't think there's any.
But let's not
size
go crazy.
Restrictions.
Let's not go crazy.
Don't go crazy.
Let's keep it PG.
Apparently, there's some 18-wheelers that are in the parade from time to time. Big trucking. They have to be there no later than 5:15.
If they're later than 5:15, what happens?
I don't believe they get to get in, but just
Cancelled.
because of the size restraints.
Yeah.
Or the area restraint. If you have multiple floats, show up. If you want to be close together, you got to show up at the same time. If you don't care about that, you can just come in whenever, because they're just going to line you up as you get there. Limited parking for the participants. There's just time or area constraints for that. Children must be accompanied by an adult.
Makes sense.
So if you got the Pee Wee football team, cheerleaders, whoever, youth groups, all those have to be accompanied by adults. These are big ones that could possibly happen in Hayden, particularly with some of our Facebook posts. No livestock.
Okay.
No donkeys.
No animals.
No goats. No smiling camels.
They spit.
they do create some issues there. Also, this is a big one, no live Santa Claus. He'll have his own special float.
So we're only having one.
Only have one Santa Claus.
Do you think that there could, well, let's not go crazy here in this moment because we don't know all the ages of our audience here, but I mean, I think that's reasonable.
It's true. The Santa Claus will be there.
Yeah.
Otherwise, but you can have a statue of Santa Claus or a picture of Santa Claus. Just
if he's got a pulse, we got one.
No live Santa Claus.
Mom and Dad have a lot of questions to answer.
Yes, lots of questions.
Yeah.
And the last point is a $20 donation is requested but not required to be in the parade.
And that's only to participate if you're watching, like I'll be doing. If you're on the side of the road, no fee, it's all free.
Yep. I look forward to it. I mean, now I will say it is one time when I was coming home from work, I was a bit aggravated that 160 was shut down. But where else is Hayden going to do it? I mean, we've just got to use the area that we've got, and it's right down the middle of 160.
And if you're a Haydenite, you know that you can go right past.
That's right.
What is that? Mountain Woods,
or it's actually Skyview Lake Road.
Skyview Lake Road.
Yeah.
Go up behind that road, twist all the way around. You can even take that road all the way to the old high school.
Yep. Go all the way through Railroad Avenue
to our one-lane tunnel that we still have. That some people may not know about.
NOLA?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's a one-lane tunnel close to.
It's right by Lake NOLA.
Yeah, NOLA Lake. Mm-hmm. Lake NOLA
brings you out right.
I've always wondered
the one that's spray painted up and has always been spray painted.
What do they do in case of emergencies there?
What do you mean?
If the parade's coming through.
Oh, well, you just find a way around. Well, the thing about it is that obviously the fire department puts it on. So the fire department catches most emergency calls. Actually, 95% of the emergency calls that come in go through the fire department. So they've got people on standby in locations where they have to be in order to address those. And then they can aid the ambulance service in getting around that if that's the case. Mm-hmm. JJ, I mean, they do a terrific job with it. They do it every year. And him being the fire chief, I think that helps.
I think it's more and more attended every year. The first year is probably no comparison to what it was last year. A ton of people.
Sure.
Lined up on the side of the road.
Yep.
Well, rain or shine, December the 5th,
7
p.m. If you're going to participate, 5 p.m. is your number.
Yep. Otherwise, just be lined up, ready for Santa Claus and the candy to come by.
All right. Topic number 2, also located in Hayden. You can flip that over.
Dry band, or you want to talk about the dry
band. That's topic 2.
The band, the burn band, dry band.
Yeah, not a dry band. I think it's a fire band.
Burn ban. And a lot of people got a little confused by that because several of the counties south of here was released from the burn ban, and we had some sufficient or some beneficial rain, but it wasn't sufficient rain to get us out of the burn ban. And so when I was talking to JJ, when I was talking to him about some of this stuff, he said, "Hey, mention this. You know, it's not that the fact that the ground's wet. That's great, but you've got so much dry leaf matter, grass, other tinder on top of that, that's really causing the problems." So still not able to go out there and burn your leaves in the backyard right now.
What if you burn in a 55-gallon drum? What if you're a garbage burner?
Not good.
So still a no?
I did that a couple of years ago when JJ come and saw me.
JJ made a visit.
I blame it on Vanna, but we set the pasture on fire. So
it can happen.
It can happen real quick, especially with any kind of wind or anything like that. It doesn't take much.
I thought I had it under control, stretching the hose pipe out. Quickly ran out of length. Wind was blowing. Quickly got out of hand. And
there's nothing like dry pasture grass. Papa caught our pasture on fire one time. You remember Rude, Daniel Roberts?
I do.
We had been doing something. We came home and Papa was burning something out in the pasture, and I'm talking about it was gone. I mean, it just went crazy. We were ripping up small pine saplings. There's a note for you if you're ever looking for something to put out a fire. A good pine sapling green is a good fire putter outer.
Slap paddle.
Man, we were slapping, and I didn't think it. I was just praying. I said, Lord, you're going to have to help us because the wind got up, and once you have wind and then dry sage pasture grass, you're at the mercy.
You weren't around when Larry Joe Thomas set his field on fire. Similarly. and tried to put it out with a 5-gallon bucket. Not with water. He was using the 5-gallon bucket to like stamp it out one at a time.
Instead of the pine sapling.
Yeah, I saw the glow from 160 and it was like, there's a fire at Larry Joseph's house. So I took off up the field. I get up there. I see him trying to put the fire out. And he looks at me. He says, "Don't you call the fire wagon. Don't you call the fire wagon.
I got this under control."
I was like, "Larry Joe, I'm calling the fire wagon, buddy. We're going to put the fire out.
People's houses are at risk here. We got to."
Yeah. So the fire wagon, needless to say, the fire wagon came, sprayed it out. Everything was safe. And thankful the firemen and the fire department was there and ready to get it put out. So
big takeaway. Keep the matches in the house.
Got to be careful with, don't play with fire.
Maybe a couple of weeks, be gone. Who knows?
That's right.
What about number 3?
And number 3 we had was a vacant position on the city council. So December 12th, the town of Hayden will meet and appoint a member for the city council. So there's not a runoff or anything. There's not, hey, you need to go vote. They will appoint a member for a vacant position, and then in the future they'll run just like a normal council member would. So that'll be 7 p.m. on December 12th is when their regularly scheduled meeting is. But a little real quick news
information there.
Information for you.
Well, let's head to Facebook. We talked about we have 3 things. The first 1 and 2 of these 3 things are tongue-in-cheek, just kind of good times. So describe the first one, the first post that you saw. It was recent.
It was recent, and it was on the community page, and the poster posted the question, do you think we need speed bumps on Rock Springs Road?
First picture that came in your mind?
The first picture that came in my mind was the Dukes of Hazzard car jumping right there at the at the top of Rock Springs Road where they've got
the good old boys.
Never meaning no harm. But they've got the little mirror. What is that road that comes out there?
It's a subdivision.
Some people aren't familiar with the area like y'all are.
Turn up Encore.
Rock Springs Road.
Turn up by Encore past Traditions Park.
Okay. That's what I thought.
Some people, meaning the man sitting to my right.
Our traveler
There's
was unsure.
so much information in my brain, it's hard to sort.
So Encore Fitness is on 160 Traditions Park. Can't miss that sign. The road that goes up through there, it is a 2-lane little road.
Yeah, they recently really blacktopped it, and it's a nice smooth.
And you can see for a while, so you can fly. I'm guilty. I get to my house that way a lot of times, and you don't even think about it. The road's so smooth, you're just rolling. And so I agree. I don't agree with the speed bump. Yeah. Although, whoever posted this, great idea. It definitely would achieve the results you're looking for. You're going to slow down.
Somebody is going to slow down for sure.
Either that or you're going to rip the bottom of your car
few bumpers.
Yeah, for sure.
If you don't slow down, you will slow down when your oil completely drains out of the bottom
because
of your car.
It's back there on the speed bump.
Yeah, and your car just stops. So, do we need?
Let's say 2 questions. Is it a good solution, or is it a solution that would achieve the results? So that's question 1 for both you guys. 2, is it a plausible solution? Number 1, would it achieve the results they're looking for, slowing down?
It always achieves the result.
Always.
Okay. All right. Number 2, is this the best solution, or could there be something?
It's probably the cheapest.
But is it the best one?
I don't see the harm in it.
Coming from a man that doesn't drive it every day.
Okay. All right. Let's put yourself in maybe my situation and the situation of hundreds of other people. Should I have to come to a 5
Are we talking about randomly through Rock Springs Road? Or?
Just one. My understanding with the post is one.
She particularly seemed like she wanted it in front of her house.
Yeah.
That was where her concern was, which...
And she may have kids. I get it.
Sure. Whatever it was. I'm going to say that there are more effective. Well, I wouldn't say more effective.
Example.
No, not more effective. That was the wrong term. But there are more
efficient.
No, not even efficient. Less invasive.
Okay.
Like what?
Less dangerous.
Maybe rubs, things that would make you like just bring your attention to it.
What about those thick white stripes? Yeah, like
those are called rubs.
Okay.
So when you run over them, it makes you.
Oh, I'm aware.
Yeah. Oh, wait a second. And then so something else has happened recently. The town of Hayden has put up these little radar signs.
You know how many people don't pay attention to those now?
But it does when the little blue and red light flashes.
It gets my attention.
You're like, oh yeah, I am going a little quick through here. So, just something to bring attention to.
Maybe start there.
And then if it doesn't solve that, then maybe.
So that was fun. Let's give the second fun one.
So there's lots of questions that are posed on our Facebook community pages. This one, we talked a couple weeks ago about where is my dog? Whose dog is this?
You can unsee that now, can you?
You can unsee it. I think I've sent you 10 in the last week.
Since we recorded that podcast. If you haven't listened to the dog segment, I think that was episode 41.
Yeah.
You can go back and listen to that.
And I was like, dude, this really is an epidemic.
Yeah.
It's everywhere.
It dominates the Facebook pages. Yeah. The hearts and the minds of our people.
Inquiring minds. So this question posed this week was, what are all the booms? Just in Hayden.
Not boomers.
No, not boomers. What are all the booms? And
first thoughts. When you read that statement, what's your first thought?
Well, my first thought is, it's not firecrackers or fireworks because it's not 4th of July or New Year's Eve. But immediately I go to somebody sighting in their 300 Weatherby off their back porch.
Mm-hmm.
Automatically, that's what I go to.
Oh, it was dynamite.
That's really what you thought when you read it? You thought that the boom being dynamite boom, not gun boom?
Yes. I don't know what booms we're talking about here. I hear random booms around here a lot.
Right.
So we need to clarify what booms are.
That's what we're talking about. And I think
there's one that comes that way, and it sounds like dynamite, but it's.
I thought he was going to say here's random voices, but he went with random booms.
Well, he is a streetwalker.
It's true.
Well, I think, judging by the comments under the post, I think the Hayden community went straight to rifles, shotguns, fires, rimfire. Or not rimfire, but center fire. And I think that's where I was too. I was like, what boom are you talking about? And so if that's you, if you made the post, we're not getting on you. But it's just.
Is this everyday occurrence?
Well, I think they genuinely, it may have been joke. This may be a joke post. I don't think it was.
I don't think it was
genuine.
Post, yeah.
And, I thought, are you from around here? How long have you lived
Did anybody
here?
call Tori?
The mouth of the South.
She would know.
If
anybody needs information.
She's got it?
She's got it.
Well, I just thought maybe this is someone who has moved here from another area.
That was where I went. So I saw the post, and I thought immediately, this young lady did not grow up in Hayden, Alabama, the week of Thanksgiving.
Because starting mid-November through the end of January, I'm almost numb to the sound. I don't even pay attention. There's so many.
That's what I was going to say. I don't ever recall getting concerned about any boom whatsoever.
I hear it so like I go to different places for work, obviously, and I'm so used to it. It doesn't even start. I don't even get startled.
Mm-mm.
There's somebody's dad on New Year's who loves to shoot a shotgun in the air to bring in the new year.
Ring it in.
I don't
with a 12 gauge.
Feel I should name any names, but we're closely related to him. So,
just with the choke or without the choke, 3 shells or 5 shells.
With the choke helps extend the boom.
No plug.
I mean, not that plug. I said choke. I meant plug.
No plug.
No plug. So we're getting 5 rounds. Yeah. Oh, you double fisted. You get 10.
Who's that? Who's that?
Yosemite Sam.
Yeah.
Well, all right, so I think. So, what do you think the boom is? What? I guess how could we answer this question? How would you answer the question for the poster
For the young lady?
Or, I'm not sure if it was a lady or a guy.
I would be safe to assume it would be a rifle.
Shane?
I'm going with the 300 Weatherby.
I think somebody's deer hunting nearby you. I think they just...
Or they're just bored.
I think they just put a little venison on the table.
Or getting ready to put venison on the table.
Or maybe they missed. We've done that. I mean, you take the day in the cutover, the deer hunting story we told. In that one hunt, we shot 8 times within a matter of 40 seconds.
Yes. I was thinking closer to 10, but it was 8.
Unless
That's
we
terrible.
had 4 in the clip, 1 in the hole. That could have been 10. I don't know how we were rolling that
We
day.
probably did have 4 in the clip, one of them.
Stop it.
No
was fun,
doubt.
though.
No doubt if there was Facebook, the question would have been posed.
Yeah.
Speaking of
What is
And
all
war
the
broke
goodness?
out.
having Facebook, how grateful or thankful are you that we didn't have that growing up?
So thankful.
I'm so thankful.
Well, we talked about last week accountability, right?
Probably been a lot better if we had Facebook growing up.
I would have been less likely to have gotten into some of the things I got into.
Only with your brain today. You didn't have
And
this
that's
brain.
true. I didn't have
so
this cognitive skills that I have
with your
now.
16-year-old brain, would you have had enough sense to not?
Probably not.
Got to remember, boys, things were different back then.
A lot different.
Lots different, and our minds were different, and we didn't care about things that we care about now, and weren't concerned with
you
it.
weren't concerned about tomorrow. If at any time in your life that you probably heeded the words of Jesus not to worry about tomorrow, it was when you were 16.
Yeah, I was 16. Yeah, take no thought of tomorrow.
No, guaranteed.
No thought.
You ain't got to worry about that. I
No
follow
thought
that
about it.
command. I've not thought anything about it.
Right.
All right, now to the serious and third post on Facebook. Now, this is pretty cool. I'm going to be honest. I like it.
I saw this post and I thought the same thing. I told Philip, I said, this is something we really need to talk about, just if nothing else, just to bring light to it to those that do listen to the podcast. And the post was something along the lines of, let's kind of be thankful. This is the time of year that we're thankful for the things that we have. Obviously, we just went through Thanksgiving and Christmas is coming up, to where you start thinking about, hey, how can I help other folks this time of year? Because God has blessed us so much in so many ways. And the post was along the lines of, if there's one thing that you need, post it on here, but that you can't afford, post it on here, and maybe someone has it to possibly trade, or has an extra one, or whatever the case was. And some of the comments were, just basic things that we all use: refrigerators, washers, dryers, coats, things like that, which, you don't think a lot about. And again, talking about the things that you're thankful for, you don't think a lot about it, because I go into my refrigerator, it's working, pull out some milk and drink it, and go throw your dirty clothes in the washer, and everything's all kind of in order. But there are times when you have excess that you can help those that don't have as much as you do.
Yeah.
So that was pretty neat to me to see that.
And it was for no cost. So they said, if this is not a place to sell this item, hey, you need a washer. Well, I got one sale for $50. No, it was no, I've got an extra one I'll give to you.
Yeah, it wasn't a post to try and give you a platform to sell your additional items. It was a post to give someone a platform to donate those items to some of the legitimately needed.
Yeah. Well, what I liked about it is it says we throw away a lot. Not a lot, but it's not uncommon for us to throw something away that we're just not using anymore. That might be the very thing that somebody could be helped by. And I just thought that'd be neat. You could, before you had a clean out, before you went to the dump on Saturday, you could look on there and go, what's needed? Oh man, I'm fixing to throw one of those away.
Yeah.
I just thought it was a neat way to not waste, but at the same time, really help somebody else.
Yeah, and there was a whole gamut of things on there. Like I said, jackets, coats, sweaters, shoes, refrigerators, freezers, washers, dryers, just basic things. Like you said, sometimes you just have an extra one to get rid of.
Where can they find that? We talked about that somebody may be really interested in that.
That was on the Hayden, Alabama news page. So
Hayden, Alabama news Facebook page. Scroll on there. You can find that. Maybe there's some items that's laying around your house that you can really bless somebody with this holiday season.
So the wrestling tournament was this past weekend. And that's something is an annual thing?
Sean Steele annual wrestling tournament. It was there at Hayden. We did a couple of little videos there, an interview with the coach, Crane, and then those. A good little pin by Briscoe.
That's true. Yeah, I did see that.
So obviously they did a few more than that. So congratulations, Hayden wrestling team. The junior varsity finished third overall, and the varsity finished second. Mm-hmm. They faced number 1 in the state, Jasper.
Wow.
Number 3 in the state, Arab. This was not a joke. This was seriously, ranked competitive teams. And the Wildcats went in there, showed out. They solid. Number 2, number 3. I was proud of them. So go Wildcats, man. We're proud of you guys. Keep it up. Looking for bigger things out of that group as they
proceed.
The main topic. Read that title for me
Hobbies
one more time.
In a small town. You do what in a small town?
You do what? Y'all do, not you. Y'all do what in a small town? So we're going to center it upon, and don't, if you're not from a small town, maybe you're from a city, what we're fixing to say, don't just
misconstrue it.
Don't misconstrue it. Hang in there. A hobby that we got into, which it's not as prevalent anymore, I know people still do it, is raccoon hunting.
Raccoon hunt.
The ring-tailed varmint.
Raccoon.
I've never heard it called raccoon hunting, though.
Yeah, you take the RAC off, and it's just coon hunt.
Coon hunt.
So we got into that back in 2001. And the sport, if you're not familiar with it, it's really a sport for the dog. And you if you don't love dogs and hunting with dogs, you probably are not going to like it. But so obviously it's a sport done at nighttime. So after the sun goes down, even though we let loose right there at sunset sometimes, it was successful.
Which was beneficial to us because at that time, bedtime was not as important to me as it is now.
No, because you were in college.
It's true. Do you remember hunting literally all night long? Mm-hmm. The sun be coming up, and we still got to go to work the next day.
Mm-hmm. You have a different level of energy when you're younger.
It's a responsibility.
Zero responsibility?
Yeah. That gives you the energy.
Maybe so. I want to argue this. So I know this is not the topic. Shane and I have talked about this a little bit. I'm going to bring it up. This is on topic, but also applies to many other areas. I think one of the key drivers to having that energy to stay out late, to keep going when you're tired, is these things that you do that you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I think the unknown, that excitement that is generated just in what's going to happen, I think is what allows you to keep going and keep going and keep going in those situations. What do you think?
To your point, when we would cut loose, you just didn't know where it would end up.
A wise man once told us, and you remember this, he said, "You love that dog?" Yeah, he said, well, if you love that dog, you take a good look at him and pet him every time you cut him loose, because that may be the last time you ever see him.
Maybe the last time.
Because they don't have a call on them. We didn't have shot collars and stuff like that where we could, buzz them back.
Do you remember that tracking device you used to have that folded out, looked like something
you
was trying to get in touch with the moon?
Yes.
The lunar landing.
We talked to extraterrestrial life with that thing.
And spin around. And holding this antenna thing. It looked like it belonged on top of your house.
It had the gain, and that's how you knew how far the dog was, by how much gain you had to put on it. And then you had to get just right. If you were under a power line, you may be getting the false reading.
Yeah.
And today it's GPS.
Yeah.
You put a GPS collar on that dog, just like on your iPhone. Well, he's 15 yards to the left. We didn't have that luxury.
Didn't have that. And we would. It sounds crazy. And if you've never been.
So let's start from the beginning. So Nighttime sport.
Nighttime sport.
You really need a 4-wheel drive truck, dog box, something to haul the dog around.
And some property.
It definitely got to have some property.
No houses around.
And here's the thing about the property. Why? Because the dog is going to go wherever he wants to go or she wants to go. So if you're hunting in a neighborhood or near a road, I mean, you didn't want to hunt near a road because that dog, if the raccoon went across the road, guess who else was going across the road?
Yeah. I go highball on the train tracks. You remember that story?
Maybe what's the movie
where the red fern grows?
Mm-hmm.
But they got smoked by a mountain lion.
Covey loves that movie and hates it all at the same time.
Yeah,
he squalls.
I want to cry too.
Loves watching him.
But that's a great picture of what it takes to train a coon dog. You have got to spend time taking them hunting, pulling hides, all those things.
But you think about, you spent all that time training, and it was really not, for me, it was not so much that I loved coon hunting as much as I loved to socialize while we were coon hunting.
Oh, yeah.
And we had some,
because I don't know many people who go coon hunting by themselves. I mean, maybe you do. I don't know.
I met a couple of guys, but very few.
Because
I wasn't going by myself.
There's
too many things could happen.
Some conversations probably not great for this, but that we had that I will forever remember laughing till my stomach hurt
till you had a headache.
Just standing there listening to the dog, but they're forever ingrained in my mind.
Good times.
And it was simple. It kept us out of trouble. It was
clean fun.
It was clean.
It was very clean fun.
We weren't hurting anybody, hurting anything.
Mm-mm.
A lot of life lessons there.
And if you're an animal lover and you say, well, how could you do that? At the end, we didn't even shoot them.
Most of the time, no.
Most of the time, we wouldn't even shoot the animal. It was more about just letting the dog run, do his thing. Because Ernest didn't really care
where you shot it at.
He didn't care if you shot it out or not.
Well, the reason we didn't, though, is because you can run the dog year round.
Mm-hmm.
You don't, but you can only hunt the raccoon during October through January,
February. I think. It's been a long time.
So the majority of the year, we were just running the dogs.
Do you remember hunting up here? And I don't know if it was Ernest got after a deer.
No, that was Red.
Definitely wasn't
Or
Ernest.
Red. Okay.
That was Red.
Red got after a deer, and we got into I think it was the gray goose, the Z. And headed up Tibble Road. Well, Philip got a glimpse of Red jumping across the road, running the deer back across. So Phil got out of the truck and was going to run after. And they had just bush hogged the pasture. But for some reason, the ditch was
like a drift,
cut off just the same as the pasture. And Phil had his overalls on and his coon hunting light and his boots, and he was digging across through there. I'm talking, he was just yelling at that dog, and you just seen him, and he took a step and it didn't catch and just plowed the ground up.
Down he went.
One of those times that I'll remember forever.
And I was already mad.
Oh, you were,
and then
hot.
Really
then
mad.
I was at a heart attack.
I was hoping you didn't catch him at this point because it was not going to be good. I was rooting for Red at this point.
You know,
run, Red, run.
I love that dog. I regret ever trying to make him a coon dog. He was the
would
best
have been
deer
the
dog
best
I've
deer
ever,
dog you ever had.
Because here's obviously. So here's another little tidbit. If you're not used to the raccoon hunting, you never want your dog to run deer. Never ever want to run deer. And Red was a deer dog that I was trying to make into a coon dog. Because here's what he'd do. Whether it was a doe or buck, it didn't matter. He would get on the track, and because of how he was just so smart naturally, he was going to run that deer, circle it back to you. I don't know how many big bucks I have watched behind that dog because he would literally run the deer until he circled it right back around to where we cut him loose. Why did we try to train him out of that?
I don't know. He was a fantastic deer dog. Would have been. Yeah. He was a decent coon dog. He wasn't terrible.
He was whatever he crossed first. If he crossed a deer first, he was going to run it. If he crossed a raccoon first, He was going to run. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Ball track.
Yeah.
And then a ball tree.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
remember you would get up there close to him and like you would go to leash him up and he would right in your face.
In your face.
Do you hear what I'm telling you?
Yeah, so when you get to the tree that the dog is sitting there barking at the tree, you go and you put a leash on and then take the leash and tie it to the closest sapling. Mm-hmm. And it's every time what he's talking about, you'd have that clip and you'd go down there and as soon as it would be about to do it, he'd throw his head back, right in your face. Oh, he was a good one.
Yeah, he was.
Lean.
He was a lean dog.
He looked like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yes.
He had a high metabolism.
Yeah. He was.
I had
dog.
one of those for a long time.
Yeah,
you
about
did.
22.
He finally caught up with me.
You were lean. Well, let's talk about. You want to tell our favorite story real quick?
You tell it.
All right. So we used to competition hunt. PKC, that was an organization, and so you would have 4 people or 3. 4 people would hunt against one another. There's a point system. You get
have a judge.
100, 75, 50, 25 for the first bark, which is called the strike trail bark when they first smell, and then 100, 75, 50, 25 for the tree bark. And so that's how it's done. And then, once you get everybody set, because most of the time all the dogs go to the same tree, you get the order, and then you go into the tree after 3 minutes. They have to stay on the same tree for 3 minutes before you can score it. You go in there. Well, we had cut loose, and I was hunting Ernest, an English red tick, and there was another Walker dog, which we always had a vendetta against. It was almost like we're all against every Walker dog we ever hunted because that's what most of the people hunted.
Most people hunted Walker
and
dogs.
Nobody hunted English dogs.
Nobody.
So we were kind of
the outcast, the underdog.
Yeah, we're the underdog. Well,
the underdog with the big dog, because Ernest was a man of a dog. Now
he held his own.
He held his own.
Well, they got down there. Ernest, the part about Ernest is he wouldn't do a trail bark or a strike bark till late. And that's how he treed really close a lot of times because he would sneak up on them instead of starting to bark and the coon just running. Mm-hmm. It would surprise him. He'd go up a tree. Well, he was late on that, and then he got, I think, first tree. But the strike was so low. So let's say he was 25 on strike, 100 on tree. So he's 125. Well, the next dog was 100 on strike, 75 on tree. So we're down 50 points.
Yeah.
And it was an hour hunt. So this was it. This was the only turn loose we was going to go to. So we had to go all the way down this hill, down a creek to this pasture. And once we got to the pasture, the dogs were on the other side of the pasture, but they were split. We were so far away at first, we thought they were on the same tree, and that's the way we scored them. But when a dog is split, then you score the different trees. And so now, we have an opportunity
to be 100 and 100
to do well again. So we get in there, we tie the dogs off on their respective, trees, and we get back to score it. And we scored the dog that was technically second on tree, and there's a possum. An opossum, the things that we run over on the road all the time. It was, and they don't climb high. They don't
climb high. It was on the first limb.
12 feet.
Yes.
Maybe off the ground.
And what made it so funny is everybody's looking at the top of the tree, that's where the raccoon normally goes, is to the very top of the tree. So everybody's back looking.
And it's nighttime, and we got these headlights, kind of like spotlights. We're
looking. Like, I don't know what's going on. And then Philip looks down on the first branch.
I said, your dog's got a possum.
There's your possum.
So when your dog does not tree a raccoon or any other animal besides a raccoon, it's minus. So not only are you minus your tree points, you're minus your strike points. So this dog is now, 150 in the hole to the negative. Well,
was leading.
Yeah, was in the lead. Well, now I've got a chance. I'm excited. My dog's not on that tree, but the guy that I was hunting with is a good friend of mine, and we've hunted all over this world. And he looked at me, and he said, "Brammy, I think your dog's got a possum." And I said, "No, he ain't got no. My dog ain't got no possum." But I really was thinking the chances of my dog treeing a coon 10 feet away. I mean, the trees were 10 feet apart, or slim to none. But I was trusting because he was
hammering on it.
And he'd never treed but one other possum besides that, and that's a great story to tell some other time. Anyway, so he said, "You ready to shine your tree?" I said, "I'm ready." And I shined up there.
Boom.
And it was you that saw it, wasn't it?
I think we all hit it right at the same time. Just
2 yellow eyes
Yep.
at the top of the tree, 10 feet from it. My dog had a raccoon, and that dog had a possum 10 feet away. Never in my life. And man, you talking about.
Oh, he was proud, daddy.
Oh, man.
Proud daddy.
What'd Johnny say?
He didn't say anything. I think he went.
No words to be spoken.
He took that leash off that tree. And
So that was Johnny's dog.
Well, they had a, it was a.
Maybe. Okay. We won't name any name.
I think it was owned by multiple people, maybe, because it was a good dog.
It was a good dog. Now, she was jam up, and she had won a lot of
hard
hunts.
to beat.
She was very hard to beat.
Molly?
How'd you remember? Wow, how did you remember that?
I don't remember. Or I don't know. I just remember.
Because she had that dog. Most people that had learned how to coon hunt behind that dog because she'd been all over the world.
Yeah.
Coon hunting.
I was proud of mine because he wasn't that old back then, and that's tough because anytime dogs they pack. It's just what they do, and so it's hard for a dog to stay on his own because it was her 2 other dogs on this one tree and him just there by himself.
Yeah, to have enough confidence to say no, y'all were supposed to be over here.
Yeah,
but they were all over there on the possum tree.
So that's it. If you're a city person or maybe you're a small town person in another part of the country where there are not a lot of trees or whatever, but that's a small town hobby, raccoon hunting, and it's
clean fun.
It's just clean fun, man.
It's a lot of work, but man, we had some good times.
It kept us out of a lot of trouble.
It did keep us out of a ton of trouble.
Because that was 21, 22, 23.
Yeah.
All through those
And
kind of tough
really
years. Well, Steve, and we're going to let you get back on the road.
Going coyote hunting.
You got a long way to go tonight where you're traveling down 160. Get your jacket back on.
Yes.
And all jokes aside, Steve, thanks for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Shane?
Enjoyed it.
Good to be back again one more time.
Well, Hayden, Alabama.
Just going to become regular.
Depends on how often you walking.
I'll let the audience.
Depends on the audience response.
Yeah,
if we get a bunch of these,
we get boo.
Put him back on the road. Yes. And speaking of that, if you've not subscribed and hit the button so that you get the notifications,
like,
do
share.
that. I had some people criticize me recently, saying that it was my fault that they weren't seeing the videos on YouTube. I don't think that's. I mean, if there's something I can do, I'll do it. But I think that's because maybe you don't have the notifications hit.
Subscribe.
Hit the notifications. This is Hayden Alabama Podcast. I'm Philip.
I'm Shane.
I'm Steven.
We'll see you next time.